What problems are troubling you? What's frustrating you, bothering you, worrying you? Want solutions? Want answers? Welcome to Here We Come to Save the Day, hosted by David Adelson. This podcast is dedicated to solving everyday and global problems in an uplifting, fun, enjoyable way. There is a solution to whatever's troubling you. Ask your questions and we'll do our best to give you practical, useful, workable solutions you can use starting today. Join us now with David's special guest experts who will share their own experiences, life lessons, and practical strategies for creating the life you long for. Start living your best life today, right now, with David Adelson and friends.
Welcome to another exciting, wonderful Here We Come to Save the Day. And I love what we're going to talk about today because we have all had that experience of stressed out and overwhelmed, and so overwhelmed we don't know how to move forward. Today's guest is going to tell you how to break out of that. She's going to give you some really cool tips to help you move forward and succeed and get out of excuses and procrastination. And did you say winning lottery? I don't know. So this is Diane Forster. Am I pronouncing that right?
You're pronouncing it perfectly.
Okay.
Hi, David.
Hi. Welcome to the show. And tell us a little bit about what you're going to be telling people today.
Well, hi, everyone. I'm Diane Forster. And what I'm going to talk about today and what I do and help people with is I help them get unstuck and out of stress and overwhelm to empowered and confident and living their lives intentionally. So that's what I do is really a mindset and manifestation mentorship. And I help people to reinvent their lives. So I'm going to share some a 3-step process that I use that completely helped me reinvent my life, and I've helped thousands of other people do it. And I'll give some other key secrets in there as well. So there's going to be some new information in here today that I haven't shared before. So
this is very exciting. I'm so glad you're here. Let me tell people a little bit about you. Diane Forster is an award-winning inventor, best-selling author, TEDx speaker, TV host, podcaster, international living expert, and reinvention specialist. She works with clients privately and helps you clear away mindset blocks and limiting beliefs that can block you from reaching your full potential in business, life, and relationships. So that covers everything. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
well, I'm sorry. I was going to say what I believe and what I have found, with a, wealth of experience there in a variety of different things, that it doesn't matter what the need is or the challenge is with the individual. We always need to start with mindset first, because that's where the problem lies anyway, is in the mindset. So
now that's really interesting, because a lot of people, I think more and more people might be waking up to that. But I'm also think that a lot of people, I hate to say it, but play a kind of blame game of this went wrong and where did it go wrong and why did it go wrong? And in my experience, that doesn't help at all. Do you agree?
I totally agree. And thank you for bringing that up, David, because I'll share a little bit of my story, but what I'm going to share that really started to turn things around for me was when I owned everything in my entire life. Everything that had ever happened to me in my entire life, I attracted. This is a, universe that operates in law of attraction, and we are attractors. And so once I owned it, then it was easy to go, well, I don't want that anymore. And I make a declaration today that I want to live an extraordinary life, and I'm going to do everything that I can to have that. And then, oh my gosh, the magic that started to happen for me was crazy. It was so good. But it was taking my finger, and instead of pointing it out, it was pointing it within. And that's what we need to do. And people have trouble doing that because they want to believe that it's not them. And I will tell you, and we're jumping right into this, which I totally love, but I will tell you that what's happening to you in your life is really not your fault. You've been programmed since birth with, you know, thousands and then millions and millions of limiting beliefs that are living in the hard drive, which is what I call the subconscious mind. It's your hard drive. And all its job and its role is just to collect data. But the problem is that 95% of what we think about every day, we think about today, are the same thoughts that we thought about yesterday. This is, I'm quoting Dr. Joe Dispenza. And so people try and make changes in their lives, and they try and do it on a conscious level, and that's not where the problem is. It's on a subconscious level. So that's why they get frustrated. And so we really need to take a look at that, and that's what I do. My work, I do processes that help lift off and get rid of what I call dandelions. What's going on in the subconscious mind are your dandelions. So we get rid of those and we replace them with roses instead, so that you can
But we
live.
take the thorns off first.
Yeah. Yes, we definitely take the thorns off first, but so that you can really live from a more empowered state of being. And then you operate in your life, in your relationships, in your health, in your money mindset, in your career, in family dynamics, in a whole different way when you get rid of those dandelions and replace them with roses. And that sounds a little esoteric right now, but what it is it's a mindset shift. And that's what happened for me, and that's why that is the area I focus on first with people when I'm working with people and coaching them. You know, they come to me for a variety of reasons, you know, business, transition, reinvention, but we do the mindset work first.
Do you find, so this is great, and I very much appreciate what you're talking about. I had a friend who traveled, spent 6 months living with Aborigines in Australia, and had some very interesting experience, including when he was first invited to spend time with them. He was standing by a pool and some things were going on, and he suddenly realized after some time that there was an Aborigine, 10 feet away or whatever. And when he noticed him, the Aborigine turned and started to walk away, turned and looked back at my friend and said, without speaking, "You coming?" And my friend just very clearly heard it. The guy didn't say anything, and then he went and he followed him, and he spent 6 months traveling with them. And he said, and this was in, I want to say, maybe 15, 20 years ago.
Okay.
And I think a lot has changed in the world, which I think you'd agree. But when he came back to the U.S., he said after spending that time with them, he realized how powerful people were. And if you told people in the United States that's how powerful they were, they would be terrified, that they would just freak from that. So
Yes.
When we look at you, which is this incredibly brave thing to do, is to say, okay, I'm going to own full responsibility for my life. I think one of the hesitations that a lot of people have is, I don't think anyone has an iota of an idea of how powerful as manifestors, as creators of our life that we are. I think that, just as you said, we've been beaten down or programmed or taught since we were very young. So I think let's talk about two things I want to address. Is one, how do we get people to be empowered enough to realize that, yes, I can do this? Let's start with that. What's your...
Well, can I give a little backstory so you have a
Absolutely.
little understanding, a little context of where I was and how I'm doing what I'm doing today? Because it wasn't always, this success. There was a lot of other things going on. So I worked in corporate America for 32 years. And then during that time I was married, I had twins. There was a lot of things that happened in my life. There were infertility issues. My mom got sick and died of cancer. There was a lot of dynamics going on. But at the core root of what was happening to me is I had this amazing career. I worked in television sales. I worked at ABC for the last 20 years of my career. And while I was working there, I came up with the idea for that kitchen product that I invented that won me the award and got me on QVC. And so that kind of opened my eyes to entrepreneurship. I never thought about moving into entrepreneurship, but what really made the change for me was the fact that I was living in a very unhappy, unfulfilling marriage and relationship, and I kept it hidden. And I had what looked like to the outside world this have-it-all life where everything looked perfect. I had the husband and the kids and the home and the cars and the travel and the career success. But what was going on internally was a very, very different story. And so after almost 20 years in that relationship of keeping it going and keep pushing my needs to the back burner and keep pretending that it was going to get better and keep up the facade and just moving through my life in a very ho-hum kind of way, I hit a breaking moment. And so in June of 2011, in a suicide attempt in the bathroom, I experienced a God moment that woke me up and changed everything for me. And what happened is the pills got knocked out of my hand. The voice screamed, "You're not ending your life this way, Diane. You need to go get help so that you can tell your story." And it shook me to the core. And the next day I reached out for help. And that started my path of, spiritual awakening, personal development, self-help and self-healing and self-love. That was the thing that was missing all along. I didn't really love myself and I didn't value myself. And so I started different processes.
I'm sorry.
And practices.
I really, that to me is a very key point. Those two things. Self-love, which I think is missing for so many people, and valuing yourself. And this is what I was thinking about is I think you're probably very fortunate, and there are people who have had some kind of, hopefully not as traumatic or dramatic as you, but some kind of realization that they can be better, even if they don't see the full spectrum of it, but just I can improve something. But this idea of not valuing yourself, I think, is rampant in this society. And I think that what's going on in the world right now is helping people kind of reset what their value is, because we're finding, I don't want to spend a lot of time in there, I want to focus on you, but I think that this is something that I want to give a shout out to everybody listening, and that is that whatever you think your value is, double it, triple it, quadruple it, and that's a good starting point to know that you can move forward. You don't have to jump from the gutter to the top of the penthouse all at once. Get out of the gutter, get on the sidewalk, get into the building, just step by step, start valuing who you are, because the phrase that we're all children of the divine, and the divine does not want us to not have to suffer. The divine wants, just as any parent wants their kid to be happy, that's what the divine wants for us. So let's get back to your story, but I really felt that was something that I want to help empower people with and bring out, and I didn't want to just slip it by when you said it.
That's, of course. So here's what I want to say to those who are listening and watching this. What I was feeling was there was no way out for me. I couldn't figure out a way out of my life, right? So I kept putting my needs further and further, just burying them deeper and deeper. And I know there are so many people out there who can't figure out their way out. So me not being able to do that almost took me out. And so, like you said, it's baby steps. But so what happened is I started a meditation practice. I started a journaling practice. I started, an exercise routine. I started really immersing myself in everything I could get my hands on, and just really absorbed everything out there in the personal development and self-help space and spiritual space. And I started healing in this really profound way. And then all of a sudden my intuitive gifts got dialed way up, and I was channeling like crazy and writing and creating. And so 2 years after my bathroom moment, I woke up with a poem in my head called I Have Today. And when I finished writing the poem, I looked down in it, and I had written so many other things, but I looked at this and I said, oh my gosh, this is way more than a poem. This is a movement. This is what God was talking about in the bathroom 2 years ago. I'm supposed to help others who don't know their self-worth discover their true divinity, power, and purpose. Because if I was living this quiet hell, how many other people are living like this? And so that's what opened it up. Then knowing that and experiencing that, then in a meditation practice one morning, I decided to chant, I forgive you. For 20 straight minutes, I just sat and said, I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you. And it was the most cathartic thing. And I was forgiving myself. I was forgiving my former husband. I was forgiving everyone and everything of anything that's ever happened in my entire life. And that's when I stood up and owned it. And I said, wait a minute, I did this. I'm the one responsible for the condition of my life, all of it. And I don't want this anymore. And I want an extraordinary life. And so that intention started to really move me forward. And the forgiveness piece of it was huge. And forgiveness is about, it's not about letting that other person off the hook. Did he do bad things? Yes. Did I do bad things? Yes. Do other people do bad things? Yes. We are, spiritual beings having a human experience, and we do have these moments and these experiences. However, it's not happening to me anymore. So by replaying it and blaming it, what I'm doing is I'm telling my mind and my subconscious the story again, and it's happening to me on a cellular level over and over and over again. So we need to get over that pain from the past as quickly as we possibly can. And so that's what started happening to me. I was letting things go, and doors and windows and opportunities kept opening up and unfolding for me. So if you would have said to me 10 years ago, Diane, you're going to be living in San Diego, you're going to be a TV host and podcaster, you're going to have, coaching people and helping them reinvent their lives, and all of these incredible things that have happened for me, I would have said, no way, you're crazy. I would have never imagined that it would be unfolding the way it is. So that's what I want to share with the audience. You have no idea the magic that is waiting for you. And the question I ask is, if you're not jumping out of your bed, excited about the day that's in front of you, you got to be asking yourself, can I be improving things in my life? What's not working in my life? Because you should be jumping out of your bed every day, excited about the day in front of you. Every area, every day should be what you want. That's why I teach about Have It All Life. I teach a Have It All Life program. So that's what I want to share with people, because they're living in what I called a ho-hum existence. That's what I was doing. Well, when the kids graduate, then I'll take care of it, or someday, or one day. And as if it's not evident right now with what's going on in the world that all you have is today, then I don't know when else it is. This is our wake-up call. If you're not happy in any area of your life, it's today is your day to do something about it. Make a change, make a decision, be aware of it.
So this is very exciting to hear. I want to give a little shout out to our Peace and Harmony program, which is available at Peace and Harmony Download. A lot of people who are experiencing tension, and a lot of, with the situation in the world right now, a lot of people are in more confined quarters. Whether you're in confined quarters, whether you're alone by yourself, you can create a pocket of peace around you with the Peace and Harmony download. Go to peaceandharmonydownload.com. It's a completely silent video that you just click, and it'll play in the background, and let it play for days before you evaluate it, because people have found some people notice things right away. Some people, it takes a little while, but it generates peace and harmony around you. We have systems for more than the personal one that's free, that we can actually get to the level of covering entire countries if people have the resources to do that. But we can do your neighborhood, your building, your store, your whatever. So, and the reason I want to mention that here is because we found that a lot of people who are hearing that noise, just hearing mental noise, that settles down for them. You called it dandelions, just whatever it is that's preventing them from really seeing who they are. At the beginning, you talked, Diane, about giving us some very clear steps. I have some ideas, but I don't want to, Raina, I don't want to cut. I want to see what yours are before I mention them. I love the forgiveness thing. The I forgive you, I forgive is, I've also found it's incredibly, incredibly powerful. You don't even have to target specifics. Just I forgive, I forgive, I forgive, and let nature, God, whatever it is, organize where it goes. And the weight that it can lift off you is huge. So I completely concur with that process, that technique, whatever you want to call it. You mentioned 3 steps. I want to cover those.
Yes. Let me give you the 3 steps quickly, and I have a video training that explains this fully. So, and I'll give you a link to that, and then I want to give you a bonus, juicy bonus. So the 3-step process that turned it around for me, that's helped so many others, is called Love It, Thank It, Bring It. And how it breaks down is love it means you've got to love your life no matter what has ever happened to you in your entire life, because you have a life to love. You've got breath in your lungs today. You are alive. You woke up. And what a gift it is, a 400 trillion to 1 odd of you being here. And everything that's ever happened to you in your life has been there for you to teach you something. And even the pain is a gift. And then thank it is to be living in gratitude and appreciation for where you are right now in your life. Doesn't matter where you are, because this is your jumping off point. And when you live in gratitude and appreciation for the bed you get to sleep in, do you know how many people in the world never know that? For the cup of coffee you get to drink, for the fact that you can turn on your faucet in your shower and take a shower and run fresh water, that so many people in the world don't know that they walk miles and miles and miles for. And 5,000 children die a day drinking contaminated water. Like everything, your home, your car, just all the little things, be in gratitude and appreciation, because that expands and into what I call, it opens up the portal to abundance, which means you receive more and more when you live in gratitude. And then bring it is the power piece. And that is, how are you showing up in your life? That you really are the creator of it. And then how are you bringing it? How are you bringing it in your relationships? How are you bringing it in your health and wellness? How are you bringing it at the job? How are you bringing it in your family? And so that 3-step process that you can draw on at any time, that's an awesome trigger that I do all the time. Love it, thank it, bring it. It takes me back into alignment right away, that, oh, this is all happening for me. I'm in gratitude and appreciation, and I'm the one that's creating my future. It gets you centered right away. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, mention video, and then I have a
Yes,
couple.
so I have a video training that teaches you all about this process. It's at myhaveitalllife.com. And it breaks down the 3-step blueprint for you with great, valuable content and takeaways so that you can start implementing it in your life right now as well.
So all the links that we're giving you today will be in the show notes below. So please take advantage of this. I have to say that I love that process because we have one of the things that we teach is love what you hate, because that's one of the ways that you clear the blocks out. We also are a firm believer that 2 days in gratitude, 2 days of just thank you, just as you said, for everything, can turn any situation around. You can even thank you for the situation itself, however uncomfortable it may be. If you trip and fall, you can still say thank you, because that karma is now done. We don't have to deal with it anymore. So we are very, very big believers of loving and thanking. And I think you bring up a very, very keen point that, again, I don't want to skim over, which is the understanding that the universe is for you, not against you, or not neutral. It's actually trying to work out things for you, either giving you lessons to learn. And I agree, some of them are not necessarily fun, but if you had not gone through what you went through, would you be where you are today? So,
Right.
so,
Right.
and we can be grateful for that, however uncomfortable it was. This is something that is huge. And I love just the idea that we understand, and this is a huge revelation for most people, that the universe is here to help you. God wants you to have Divine Mother, whatever, however we look at it, nature, whatever the organizing intelligence of the universe is, wants you to have the best possible experiences that you can, because that's a way of connecting. Gratitude is
Yes.
also a way of connecting to those that can help you. I like your idea of bring it. We talk in terms about allowing and receiving, because a lot of people feeling unworthy, even if you give them something, they can't receive it. And that's very frustrating for the giver, and it's very frustrating for the person who's crying that they want something, but then when you try to give it to them, they can't. So I love what you're explaining here. I love, tell me again the website that they go.
The training is at myhaveitalllife.com.
myhaveitalllife.com. That's
Yes.
perfect. And
Yes.
good. And then you promised us a bonus. So,
Yes. So one of the things I've done, because I'm a master manifester, and I teach my clients how to do that as well. And what I learned, as I said in the beginning, is the key missing ingredient in the whole manifestation, getting what you want, law of attraction, I have found is in language. It's in the words that you speak about yourself and about others. And I'm not talking about, I'm talking about in your life. So while many people get frustrated, they don't understand, why isn't the law of attraction working for me? Why does it work for some people and how come it's not working for me? Well, that right there, that sentence is the reason why, one of the reasons why. But what happens is,
I'm
as
sorry,
it,
I need you to explain that.
I'm going to right now.
Okay.
So what happens is, if you set intentions in the morning and you meditate and you journal and you do the things that you think are, the work that's required, and then you go out in your life in your day and you are speaking the same exact way, like, oh, I can't stand this traffic, I'm never going to find a parking spot, or there's always a line at the store, or I can't stand my boss, or language like that keeps you stuck. So when you say, I don't know why the law of attraction works for everybody else and it doesn't work for me, you just gave the universe your order for it not to work for you, because the universe only understands one word and one emotion. And that word is love. I'm sorry, that emotion is love. And that word is yes. So whatever you are speaking, you are going to be receiving. That is what you're going to get. So a tip is I call this the ABCs, awareness begets change. So if you can think about how you're speaking, and what if you didn't say, I can't stand my boss, he's always in a bad mood. Instead, you said, well, the person I used to be would feel that way about him. The person I am now respects him, admires him, knows that he's really doing the best he can from where he is, because that's probably all he's got, and I don't need to stay attached to it. I can remove myself from it. That's a deep one. You can do that with everything. It doesn't matter. If you're trying to lose weight, why can't I lose this weight? I'm always going to be heavy, I'm always going to carry this extra weight. You are asking to stay that way. So you say that, well, that was the person I used to be. The person I am now knows that I can do anything I want. The person I am now knows that I am at my ideal lifetime weight. And notice how I said I am in there. And I know I'm throwing a lot at you. There's a lot more steps to it, but just being aware, if you just start creating the awareness of how you're speaking, because what we're speaking is what we're getting. It absolutely is. And it starts, so that's the piece that I really focus on. And I help people reframe and completely change their language about the way they speak. They catch it right away, and then they pivot it and start manifesting so much faster. It's fascinating how language works that way.
I so am in tune and agree with what you're saying, Diane, because I know you talk, and a lot of people talk about the law of attraction. From my side and the traditions that we come in, we just talk that you're just creators. You're just manifestors. We're co-creators of our experience with the divine. We skip the law of attraction part, but the end result is the same. And in our understanding, as a creator, everything you say has to be manifested. And so we've done all these, I know those who have read some of my stuff or listened to some of my earlier webinars and works, we did one whole hour and a half clearing just on that one point of, the one thing that's holding you back from getting exactly what you want is you're not watching your speech. You're being very cavalier, very casual. You're just saying things that you say out of habit. I love that you brought the quote earlier from Joe
Dispenza.
Yeah, Joe Dispenza. I wasn't remembering it quite. Where he talks about you're just having the same thoughts over and over every day. And what if we start changing those? We're also casually saying the same thing. So many people are saying, well, I don't know, as if that's now they're out of the loop, they're out of the, but it's not a question of, it's again, everything that you're talking about is so key to so many things. It's recognizing that it's your life, it's your responsibility. What your experiences are 100% on you, including how you interpret. I want to kind of do a little summary here for everyone. I hope you correct me where I mess up.
Sure.
So the first thing is, own that it's you. The second is everything is about love. So love yourself. You did.
It's about self-love.
Self-love. And I think none of us are taught self-love. None of us are taught empowerment. In fact, the exact opposite. We won't go to that part right now. But this idea of we want to love ourselves, we want to forgive, we want to think positively, we want to speak positively. If you know every word you say is going to be created, that's a lottery ticket. That is literally that's saying you can have whatever you want, but you have to pay attention. And I want to ask this, how many people do you feel are just, I hate to say it in this way, but just too lazy to watch their speech? It's just like, I don't want to bother. I want to be who I am. This is who I am. I'm this person. How do you work with those people?
Well, I think there's certainly a level of staying stuck in that, and it's comfortable, it's familiar. And so the subconscious mind likes to keep you comfortable and familiar, likes to keep you in fear. That's what its role is. When you start making changes in your life, you're disrupting your patterns, and it's uncomfortable. Think about when you want to make a change. If you want to change your diet or you want to start an exercise routine, it's uncomfortable to start to do that. It's a break in the habit. It's you got to get up and go to the gym. It's you got sore muscles. Like there's discomfort in that, but the results are there. So if you say, oh, that's too much work, well, then your life isn't going to change. No one is going to give you the permission to do this. You've got to give this to yourself. And
we'll give right now. Well, that's you and I. We'll just give everyone permission.
But right, okay. So we'll grant it to the world. There you go, blanket. David and I just granted you all permission to do this. But understand this: you came into this world alone, and you're going to leave this world alone. And you've got to own. This is your life. This is your today. This is your. It's not a do-over. You don't get a chance to redo this journey again. So you've got to be able to get uncomfortable to start to make these changes. And it's not that bad. These are little baby steps. I read in James Altucher's book, Choose Yourself, years ago, and I'll never forget this. He said, if you do 1% better a day, just one, imagine what that equates to at the end of a year and a lifetime. So if you just did 1% better today, just now you have the awareness. Where might you think about what we said? Where might you love yourself unconditionally? Because there's nothing wrong with you, by the way. You are perfect. You are all of us, we are all perfect. But where could you love yourself a little bit more? Be kinder to yourself. Forgive yourself more. Start with you first. Don't expect to change other people. The change comes from within. And when that change happens, then all of a sudden that it has an effect on the energy around you and in your life. And then other things start to change because of it. So if you could just do one thing different each day, just have that a little awareness, that would have, oh my God, the most profound effect on your life. The trajectory just goes way, way, way up. So
this is, I know what we've talked about, Diane. I know how much is contained in the seeds of what you're planting today. And I really want to encourage people to take advantage of however, whether they go through you, whether they go wherever they go. And I know you'll agree with me on this, we want a world of empowered, fulfilled, happy people because we're selfish and we want to live among that world. We want to live where we don't have to fix things all the time. There's this idea of if you don't do it, it won't get done. This idea that we're comfortable inside. This is, a Newtonian law. A body in motion stays in motion, which means it's going to continue as it's going unless acted upon by the outside force. And that outside force has to be your own will, your own desire, your own intention. And this idea of just do one simple thing different, just one thing every day is really huge. I know how much this can expand into what can really help people. I think the seed ideas that you've given today, Diane, are brilliant, and I trust that it will help people a lot. From my side, I'd love to talk to you for many more hours because we're completely in sync about all of these points, and I know how valuable they are to the world. So I'm going to encourage all the listeners to go to, say your website again.
So the training is at myhaveitalllife.com, but I also want to encourage you to subscribe to my podcast, which is called I Have Today with Diane Forster, and it's available on all the streaming platforms and on YouTube as well, where I put out content every single week. We've got well over 100 episodes on there, teaching you some of the processes that I shared with you today. And you can find out more information about me there as well, too, because you're right, David, we are on this journey together. And I just want to add a little something to what you said about it. Yeah, we're selfish because we want that, but you and I have had our awakening and our experience. And so we know how good this feels. We know how good life is. And that's what we want to share with other people. We don't want to see anybody else suffer anymore, and so that's why we do what we do. So take it upon yourself to bring it in your life. And in 1% a day, you're going to have radical changes.
So, yeah, I love what you just said. I absolutely love it because, and this is what I want to say about us selfish and bring it. We all know how we feel when we watch that pole vaulter go over, or the home run, or the football game, or whatever sport it is, or the skaters getting the 10s across the board. We know how we feel watching that person or that couple or that team do that. That's why we love sports. That's why we love, watching in the different contests of whatever doing. We love that moment where someone shines.
Yes.
You and I want everyone to be shining like that all the time. Mm-hmm. And that's an amazing world because we see someone else do that and it gets, 10 million whatever views on YouTube, whether it's one of the Got Talent shows or whatever. People love that moment where someone really brings it and shows their fullness. And you and I know, believe that this is possible for every single person on the planet, pretty much every moment by moment. And what an amazing experience that will be for all of us.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I say that, shine like the bright star that you are, all of us. Yeah.
Diane, thank you so much for your time today. As I really encourage people, this what we're giving you today is a good starting point. But if you really want to succeed at this, you have to continue, and positive reinforcement and encouragement and more understanding of these techniques and other tools and information that come over time is worth attending to. If there's Diane's podcast, our podcast, so many other sources, please, we're encouraging you, seek out whatever works for you, whatever moves you in the direction of your own inner fulfillment and living an amazing life. Diane, thank you so much. This has been great and very fulfilling for me personally, so I really appreciate you. And I just want to acknowledge all the good work that you're doing and what you're bringing to the world and express gratitude for that. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, David. It was my privilege.
Thank you for listening to another helpful, fun, and life-changing episode of Here We Come to Save the Day with David Adelson. To access the show notes and additional resources, go to herewecometosavetheday.com. If you've enjoyed the show and find it helpful and fun, please leave us a review and share with a friend. Tell us issues troubling you or questions you have. We're here to help you. That's what Here We Come to Save the Day is all about. Till next time.